Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Wildcard MTG. These are 10 additions for budget-minded people for Auntie Ool. Or maybe Auntie Cool. Auntie Ool is a new commander that cares all about -1/-1 counters, and a lot of people have already kind of solved that and made a lot of cards be really, really expensive, but there are still some budget options out there for you. I've compiled 10 cards that I think are pretty good. Some I've ran in my deck, some I haven't gotten yet to try and run, but I think they would still be good additions. So we're going to go through those right now. All right, the first card we have up here is Sadistic Obsession. It's 3 generic and a black for an enchantment, enchant creature. Enchanted creature has pay a black, tap, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. Obviously, looking at the 4 mana investment for the initial cast seems a little high, but if you look at most of the mana value of the stuff in this deck, this is actually not too bad, and it can replace something in the deck that doesn't quite synergize with Auntie Ool to have a more focus on the -1/-1 counter aspect. I mean, there's like 4, 5, 6 cards we can cut that are all in the 6, 7 mana value range. So definitely do that if you can. And then keeping in theme with that, we have Cartouche of Ambition, which is 2 generic and a black for an enchantment. Enchant creature you control. When it enters, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature, and then the enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. So the thing we care about is the -1/-1 counter. Yeah, it's basically 3 mana for a draw 1 or do 1 damage, but getting the +1/+1 and lifelink honestly isn't too bad. And again, there's more expensive stuff in this deck that does less. It just doesn't synergize with the commander at all. So I thought this was an okay addition. And then next up we have Canker Abomination. It's 2 generic and 2 hybrid Golgari mana. It's a creature, tree folk horror, 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, choose an opponent. It enters with a -1/-1 counter for each creature that player controls. So basically, depending on how many creatures your opponents have, this could be a draw however many cards you want. Because when it enters, it's going to get all those -1/-1 counters. Auntie Ool is going to see that. You're going to draw a bunch of cards. You could draw up to 6 cards with this if somebody has more creatures than you. You could draw 2 cards, which is still fine, 3 cards, whatever. You get to choose the opponent. Again, it's a card draw spell with a body on it. It's honestly not too bad for 4 mana. Again, there's stuff that I would cut from this deck, like, Card of Hex Demon, or, there's a ton of cards in this deck that just do not synergize or just way, way too high costed, and this is a little more in line with what we want to do. And we have another enchantment here. It's a 1 red mana enchantment, enchant creature. Enchanted creature is +3/+3 and has at the beginning of your upkeep put a -1/-1 counter on this creature. So it buffs our creature by 3, and then it's like a mini Phyrexian Arena all for 1 mana. Now the cool thing is, because of this enchantment on there, if our creature gets below, its normal power and toughness, but it's still getting that +3/+3, it's giving us extra turns with that creature as long as it stays on the battlefield. And then next we have Exemplar of Strength. It's 1 and a green for a creature, human warrior, 4/4. When Exemplar of Strength enters the battlefield, put 3 -1/-1 counters on target creature you control. And whenever Exemplar of Strength attacks, remove a -1/-1 counter from it. If you do, you gain 1 life. So obviously you probably want to put the counters on this creature. Again, you're going to draw 3 cards off of it, and then when it attacks, if you have a good attack, you can remove a counter to gain, a couple life, which isn't bad. That's just like secondary value. And for 2 mana, I mean, why not? And then we have Noxious Hatchling. It's 3 generic and a Golgari hybrid creature elemental, 6/6. It comes into play with 4 -1/-1 counters on it, so you draw 4 cards. It also has Wither. And then it says, whenever you play a black spell, remove a -1/-1 counter. And whenever you play a green spell, remove a -1/-1 counter. Well, we have a lot of black and green spells in this deck, so getting to remove those counters is going to happen pretty naturally. And it dealing damage in the form of Wither is going to help us do damage to our opponents thanks to Auntie Ool. Pretty good budget option. It's only 44 cents. It's 4 mana. Again, it's better than most stuff in this deck, and it fits with. And then we have Serrated by Skellion. It's 3 generic mana for an artifact creature construct. It's a 2/2. You can tap it to put a -1/-1 counter on the Serrated by Skellion and a -1/-1 counter on a target creature. So that's effectively a draw 2 for 3 mana, which isn't too darn bad. And again, it fits more in the theme of the deck that we want from this commander. I know this is a bit of a weird card, but it's a cool card. It's a little high costed, which I've been complaining about, but it fits more in the theme with a lot of things. So we have Shambling Swarm. It's 1 generic and 3 black pips for a 3/3 creature horror. When Shambling Swarm is put into a graveyard from play, distribute 3 -1/-1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures. Remove those counters at the end of turn. So this is effectively a draw 3 from this creature. It's, 4 mana for a draw 3, not too bad. Yeah, the 3 black pips is probably a little rough, but looking at some of the stuff that was in this deck, there are creature cards that had like 2 black pips, 3. So getting 3 isn't really that bad. Yeah, I don't know, just it fits on theme with what the deck wants to do, and I don't think it would be too hard to get this out. Now, obviously, you have to get it to die, but it's a 3/3, so you can block or make a bad attack just to get the triggers, and who knows if anybody will want to even block. Cool card, definitely should put it in the deck. Now, this one isn't terribly budget. I think people have caught on to this card a little bit since I found it. Maybe some other creators out there have pointed out this card because it was budget at one point, but that is Glistening Oil. It's 2 black for an enchantment. Enchanted creature has Infect. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a -1/-1 counter on enchanted creature. When it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return Glistening Oil to its owner's hand. So you can do this one of 2 ways. You can put it on your own creature, draw cards on your upkeep like a Phyrexian Arena. When it dies, boom, this goes back to your hand, repeat. Or you can put it on your opponent's thing, kill it over time. Sure, it's going to have Infect, but I don't think that's really going to matter too much in this game. You're going to kill that creature, do damage to them, get it off the field, whatever the problem is, and then this goes back to your hand, and again, repeat. Yeah, it did spike a little bit. This card was only like $2 or $3 for a while, if I remember correctly, but now it's like $8, so it's less than budget, but still less than what most of the cards are that people have talked about for this deck. I mean, there's cards that are like $20, $30, $40 now, multiples, because they're just so good in this deck, especially a lot of the old Lorwyn, Morningtide, Shadowmoor cards are insane. All right, and the final card we're going to talk about here, I was a little hesitant on this one because I just want to let you know right out the gate, it is reserve list, but it's not insanely expensive like that other reserve list card that people talked about for Auntie Ool. I did talk about this card in my underrated cards from Alliances video. If you want to check that out, check it out in the links, or just go to the channel and look at it. There's a lot of cool cards in Alliances, but Misfortune is 1 generic black, red, green for sorcery. Target opponent chooses one. You put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and gain 4 life, or you put a -1/-1 counter on each creature that opponent controls, and Misfortune deals 4 damage to him or her. This card could be extremely swingy in this deck. I like cards that make people have choices. You're going to give the good thing, you're going to take the bad thing. What are we going to do here? So they either buff your board and you gain life, or you're going to absolutely wipe them out, and they're going to take a ton of damage if Auntie Ool's out, depending on how many creatures they have out, obviously. But I mean, you're not going to use this unless you're going after somebody with the biggest board. I mean, think about a token stack. This is absolutely going to wipe them out. So it's a really cool card. It is on the reserve list, but it's only $1.22 right now. If people catch on to this, I hope it doesn't spike to $40 like that one card did. But yeah, man, it's a cool card. I really like this card. I have it in a couple decks already. Yeah, man, try it out. Let me know what you think. If you use any of these cards in your decks, please let me know. This is for more budget-minded people, because so many cards have spiked because of Auntie Ool, aka Auntie Cool. And yeah, man, this is a fun deck. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like these videos, please let me know. Please hit like and subscribe. It helps me out as a new content creator in the Magic space. And I have a new deck tech up for Aloy, Universes Beyond Commander. Yes, I know, Universes Beyond, whatever. But it's a really fun commander. I did a deck tech for it. She's one of my favorite decks I've built in the past few months, so I had to do something. Not sure what I'm going to do about Ninja Turtles. I'm not really super interested in the set, even though I love Ninja Turtles. But yeah, man, and I got a friend. We're kind of doing like a little podcast video series every so often of like, what every other content creator does, just kind of analyzing cards, talking about Magic stuff. We have one episode up now where we're talking about Lorwyn. Yes, I know Lorwyn's out already, but if you want to check it out, please do that. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.